really, it's a reason to encourage your friends to travel as well. Like, oh, you're going to Hokkaido? Ah, can you get me some like melon flavored stuff, please? Thank you. 皆さん、こんにちは。少し時計ようこそ. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 reasons why I want to travel around Japan. So, if you like videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. And let's begin. Okay, number 1, different food. So we don't really have this too much in the UK. I think depending on where you are in the UK, the cuisine varies very, very slightly, but I don't think it's anything that's too noticeable. And it's definitely not specific to each area. It's more like north versus south, for instance. But in Japan, depending on where you are and what prefecture you're in, the food varies quite a bit. So I know that in Hokkaido, it's famous for like rich, creamy food and seafood. And Okinawa is famous for goya, which is a vegetable I'd never tried until I got to Japan, and I love it, it's great. And then obviously in Osaka, there's takoyaki. Aomori is famous for apples. So yeah, it seems like each part of Japan has its own type of food or style of food that they're famous for. And I want to try all of it. Really, I want to try all of it. I think one of the best ways to explore Japan is by food. Honestly, I think the food of each area tells you so much about that area. So yeah, I'm excited to be doing more of that in the future. All right, so number 2, different prices. So depending on where you are in Japan, certain things are more cheap or more expensive. So I think as a general rule, Tokyo is one of the more expensive places in Japan, but that's pretty normal. It's the capital and it's the same in most other countries as well. But I really want to mention the food prices. I think that's something that's really noticeable. So you saw in a vlog I did not too long ago that when I was in Miura Kaigan, I bought some broccoli that was super cheap. And actually that's not too far away from Tokyo, but it's still not in Tokyo, which is probably why it was so much cheaper. And yeah, it's just kind of crazy to me. It also does depend on the speciality of the area as well. So if you buy Goya in Okinawa, it's going to be cheaper than buying Goya in Tokyo. If you buy milk in Hokkaido, it's going to be a different type of quality and cheaper than what you could get somewhere else in Japan. So yeah, this is something that I like because I think it does inspire you to travel around Japan a little bit more. And again, it's something we don't have in the UK. I think London is expensive and then the cities are expensive as well. Manchester, Liverpool, they're more expensive than the countryside. But that's pretty much it. Like, London is the most expensive city in the UK. Anywhere outside of that, everything's cheaper. And there is a bit of a joke about people not from London coming into London and being disgusted at the price of beer. Like, they go to a pub and like, a pint of beer in London is like double the price that it is outside of London. It's a joke that I think people who don't live in London talk about and they make fun of us for it. Okay, number 3, different weather. So I think, I don't want to say Japan is extreme in this sense, but like I said, I can only really compare it to the UK. And I think the biggest difference in temperature we have in the UK is, again, between just north and south. But in Japan, the weather is drastically different depending on where you are. So obviously, again, the further north you go, the colder it is. The further south you go, the hotter it is. But I found when I went to Hokkaido that actually the summer there was pretty hot. Like hotter than I expected. If I think about how cold it does get in the winter, it surprised me how hot it was still able to get in the summer. Whereas in the UK, it gets really cold in winter and our summer is also quite cold. Like, it's a bit disappointing. So I was really shocked to see that in Hokkaido, it can get really cold and also quite hot. And then you guys know the summer in Tokyo is pretty extreme. And then yeah, in Okinawa as well, it's pretty mild all year and then summer is really hot. But I don't know if this is just from my experience and maybe, you know, I traveled at a weird time, but I found that the summer in Okinawa isn't too much hotter than the summer in Tokyo, which is kind of crazy if you think about like the geographic location. So yeah, that was quite surprising to me. So I think that's really adding to the list of reasons to travel around Japan. So we've got food, the prices, and then also the difference in weather as well. You can kind of chase the sun. So although it doesn't get extremely hot in the winter in Okinawa, it's still much, much warmer than it would be in Tokyo. So if you need that warmer climate, there is somewhere to go. So yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, number 4, different scenery. I think this is a pretty obvious one to talk about. I've mentioned this before, but wherever you go in Japan, the scenery is completely different. And it's not just a case of you have to travel really far outside of Tokyo to get like a countryside vibe. Not at all. And I think the vlog we did in Miura Kaigan kind of proves that. That was only an hour away from Tokyo and it just felt like a different world entirely, with the beach, just with the atmosphere. It was really a seaside town. And yeah, I think as well, like I said, the further north you go, you have mountains and snow, and then the further south you go, it's very tropical. And even just the cities in between feel so different from each other. I think no matter where you are in Japan, no place feels the same as another place. You know, they are all different. They all have their own identities. And I think that's something that's really special to Japan. So yeah, another reason to travel. Okay, finally, number 5. Each area has different snacks and different items limited to that area. This is something that I've always thought was really clever with Japan. I think souvenir shopping is great here. Really, it is, because I think there are so many snacks and items limited to that area. So if I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to mention again from my experience. So I know that if you're visiting someone and you've come from Tokyo, you should probably get them Tokyo banana. And then if you're going from Hokkaido and visiting someone, you should get them something melon flavored. And then if you're going to Okinawa, you should get the sweet potato snacks, which, oh my gosh, I'm addicted to these. They don't make sense to, I think, a Western person if you explain them. It's like a biscuit that's like sweet potato flavored with like a purple cream on the top. It doesn't make sense, but when you eat it, it makes so much sense. Like, they are so good. I've eaten so many of those in the past. They're so addictive. But yeah, you can only get them in Okinawa. And you know, Tokyo banana, you can only get in Tokyo. The melon snacks, you can really only get in Hokkaido. So that's another reason to encourage you to travel. And really, it's a reason to encourage your friends to travel as well. Like, oh, you're going to Hokkaido? Ah, can you get me some like melon flavored stuff, please? Thank you. It's like, it works perfectly, and it's a great way to encourage people to travel and to spend money so you can like boost the economy of that area. I just think it's really good. Yeah, I really want to visit all 47 prefectures in Japan. It's probably going to take a while, but that is my goal. That is it for this list. What did you guys think? What's your favorite place to visit in Japan? So if you could go for a quick trip or a long vacation, where in Japan would you go? Please let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.